Hello everyone, and welcome to my Let's Play of Daggerfall. This is my first Let's Play video, and I figure I'm going to start with my favourite game of all time. Honestly, just the demo for this game was enough to get me completely hooked on the Elder Scrolls series, although this is still my favourite one. If you ask me, the others all dumbed down a bit much. No, this is my favourite one. Now we're going to start a new character, and we're going to play a sort of intelligent character. Breton or High Elf, maybe a Dunmer? No, an Altmer. We'll play an Altmer. Usually wind up playing an Altmer. High Elves hail from the province of Somerset. You're part of a tall, golden-skinned people, extremely intelligent, agile and willful. The magical nature of Somerset Isle has made the High Elves natural spellcasters who are immune to paralysing poisons and spells. Is your character to be a High Elf? Yes, he is. And it also allows me to be a bit cheap later, as we'll see. And I'm going to play a male. I have no idea how to play a female. I'm going to end up doing a custom class, but for a laugh we'll do the questions. You're hunting in the King's Hunt, a contest in which the best hunter will win riches enough to live comfortably for the rest of his or her life. You track a white stag many of you had shot at earlier. You're alone as you examine the stag and recognise the arrow as one fired from your friend's bow. As you retrieve the arrow for closer examination, you hear your friends arrive. Do you A. claim to have fired the arrow that hit the stag and thus gaining the honour for the kill? B. Show the others the arrow and proclaim your friend the archer of the day? Or C. Suggest dividing the prize, reasoning that although your friend's arrow brought the heart down, all of you were instrumental in tracking and the kill. Tough. Money enough to live comfortably for the rest of your life? But where's the fun in that? Be good to have a friend that you've allowed to set up in this enviable position, no? While in a marketplace you witness a thief cut a purse from a noble. Even if he does so, the noble notices and calls for the city guards. In his haste to get away, the thief drops the purse near you. Surprisingly, no one seems to notice the bag of coins at your feet. Do we A. pick up the bag and pocket it, knowing the extra windfall will help your family in times of trouble? B. Pick up the bag and signal to the guard, knowing the only honourable thing to do is return the money to the rightful owner? Or C. Leave the bag there, knowing that it's better not to get involved? Well, there's too many uncertainties here. Obviously the noble's rich enough, he doesn't need the money. The thief could have an accomplice. You really don't want to get involved in there. The boat you're in is suddenly caught in a tremendous whirlpool. As the current reaches an impossible velocity, the little boat begins springing leaks and starts to sink under the vortex. You can see no way out that doesn't promise death. So you pick up a bucket and begin bailing furiously, hoping to keep the boat afloat just a few more seconds. B. Sit back and accept your fate, choosing to die with a sense of decorum and nobility, not as a commoner who fears the unknown. Or C. Dive into the churning current. You may only be hastening your own death, but at least you're doing something. I guess panic would set in and I'd probably start bailing like crazy. On a clear day, you chance upon a strange animal, its leg trapped in a hunter's claw snare. Judging from the bleeding, it will not survive long. Do you draw your dagger, mercifully ending its life with a single thrust? B. Do not interfere in the natural evolution of events, but rather take the opportunity to learn more about a strange animal you've never seen before. Or C. Use herbs from your pack to put it to sleep, then free it from the claw snare and take it somewhere where it can be safe, knowing that in doing so you will probably deprive a hunter and his family of sustenance. Well, we don't want to be doing that. Hunters got to eat, and don't intervene. No, I guess it's cruel to leave it dying slowly. I guess we would just put it out of its misery. A friend has on several occasions made remarks about how much he likes a particular gold ring of yours. One day you discover that this ring is missing, and after making a thorough search you find it in a coat your friend had left in your pantry. Are you most inclined to A. Ask your friend how he came about the ring? It's highly probable that he found it and meant to return it to you. I think we've lost some text in the word wrap in there. B. Confront him with his theft. You know there's no way the ring just fell into his pocket by accident, and therefore he is nothing but a common thief who would betray you for material gain. Or C. Say nothing, deciding to wait and see what your friend does. If he's innocent or guilty, you will know by whatever actions he takes. At that time you can confront him with the truth. I guess C. I guess always better to see how they act, and based on not knowing what you know. Your arms master, during a lesson in strategy, remarks, the best victory is to completely and totally humiliate your opponent. He then turns to you and asks if you agree with him. You know the arms master has been in numerous life and death conflicts and has the experience of a seasoned warrior. Do you A. agree with his remark, knowing that at this moment your experience is not enough to justify any stance but total agreement with whatever your arms master says, a man who has dedicated his life to strategy? B. Disagree with his remark, reasoning that it must be some type of test and that the truth will only come from opposition with his opinion and not sheep-like agreement. Or C. Refuse to answer the question, choosing to withhold an opinion until you have more experience and can converse on the subject in an intelligent manner with him. I guess I don't know would probably be the way to go. There is a lot of heated discussion at the local tavern over a group of people called telepaths. They have been hired by certain city-state kings. Rumour has it these telepaths read a person's mind and tell their lord whether a follower is telling the truth or not. You believe A. This is a terrible practice. A person's thoughts are his own, and no one, not even a king, has the right to make such an invasion into another human's mind. B. Loyal followers to the king have nothing to fear from a telepath. It's important to have a method of finding assassins and spies before it's too late. Or C. In these times it's a necessary evil. Although you do not necessarily like the idea, a telepath could have certain advantages during a time of war, or in finding someone innocent of a crime. I guess since they exist you have to sort of make some use of them, and yeah, I guess I wouldn't like the idea, but as long as they were acting with the best of intentions they could be useful. You have a great aunt and a great uncle living in 2 different nearby villages, both of whom have asked your father to allow you to live with them for a few weeks. Your father knows where he plans to send you, but is curious about your opinion. Given the choice, would you rather A. live with your great aunt, a wise old woman of considerable wealth? Living in luxury for a few weeks could not only be enlightening, it could also be very interesting. B. Live with your great uncle, a sick old man who's always been something of a stranger to you. A few weeks with him may be arduous, but he's in more need of your help than your great aunt. Or C. Think of a way to divide your time between your great aunt and great uncle. Perhaps you'll not be able to spend as much time with either as much as you would like, but neither would be left out. Pardon me, coughing. Where family's concerned, I guess you gotta spend time with both of them. It's a particularly grueling class. Your arms master has been unreasonably demanding on everyone, including you. His criticisms border on abuse, and it seems that he has no positive comments to make. He turns to berate you at the end of the class, and over his shoulder you see some classmates put an aggressive but non-poisonous snake in his handsack. You would A. do nothing. The great arms master needs a dose of humility, and this might be a good way of paying him back for all the misery he has put you through today. B. Tell him you saw a snake creep into his handsack, but do not tell him what your classmates did. No reason to get anyone in further trouble. Or C. Immediately tell him what the classmates did. There is no excuse for treating a seasoned fighter like him with disrespect, regardless of his treatment to you that particular day. I guess I'd tell him what I saw, but not who did it. Don't want to be aggressive. One night, walking home, you're attacked by a young man you know from class. You defend yourself ably and knock him unconscious. While he is out, you A. tie him up, intending to interrogate him later when he wakes up. You want to know why he attacked you. You can then turn him into the arms master at your leisure. B. Slit his throat. You know him from class and think he would have done the same had your positions been reversed. Or C. Leave him with a visible scar, a knowledge of his defeat at your hands, and the visible reminder punishment enough for one who has resorted to such dishonourable tactics. Yeah, I guess we could do something like, I don't know, carve a dong into his forehead or something. A healer. Interesting. In Arena, healers was generally thought to be the best class in the game, and it's hard to argue with. I'm not going to make a healer, but restoration's a nice magic to have. We're going to make a custom class today. Nope, I've clicked on something. I guess we're down in the minor skills, so we'll start with swimming, which is always a good one to have. Start at the top. I am going to make a class called Necromancer. Not that it actually makes any difference. There are no summon monster spells in this game apart from the Skull of Corruption, but since we're not likely to find that, I see us as being very intelligent and willful, but being lacking a bit in the strength, agility, endurance and speed departments. Okay, now as to our skills, destruction. Gotta start with destruction. Blowing stuff up with magic is exactly what we want to do a lot of here. You're going to see a lot of that. What next? Thaumaturgy has a lot of useful effects like levitation and such. Useful skill to have. And alteration for water breathing and such. Why don't we just go the whole hog and have all the magic skills in our top 6? We're going to be a very magically oriented character anyway. Mysticism. Where's restoration? Got to have restoration. Need to be able to heal ourselves. Now, minor skills. We're going to want a short blade. More on that later. You'll see why. And lock picking to get into locked doors. Long blades. Gotta have long blades. Hand to hand. Some enemies in the game are immune to certain weapons, and if you don't have the right one, then if you don't have the right material, you'll give yourself a hard time unnecessarily. So we'll pick dodging, perhaps. Dodging, yes, we'll stick with dodging. The other things we can work up as I guess I'm going to have to pick one of these and then change it back to dodging. Okay, so there we have our skill selection. Now we get to do the special advantages. So we're a magic character and we're going to want a larger pool of spell points. I'm just going to take as many as I can get, 3 times intelligence, and we're going to want something to spell absorption. I love spell absorption in this game. Would it be possible, we think, to regenerate health as well? Good advantage to have start of the game. Now, of course, if we were to leave it like that, it would take us almost 3 times as long to advance our skills. That's now exactly 3 times as long. But what we want to do now is balance out those advantages with some disadvantages. So I'm going to make the guy critically weak to disease, and I'm going to be really cheap here and take critical weakness to paralysis because I'm immune to it anyway, so that's points for free there. Pro tip for you. And we're going to go a bit mad with forbidden materials. Steel, we'll stay away from steel, we'll stay away from silver, and we'll stay away from elven, which is a bit odd for an elf, I'll grant you. Dwarven, wouldn't want to touch anything the Dwemer had made. mithril. We'll stay away from mithril. And we're way down here now, so we can afford to nudge our max hit points per level a bit. Now at 25, that's exactly as easy as the game can be, but we can put it up to here and get maximum, so we're going to do that. Reputations. No, we'll leave him as he is, and we'll just you can sort of play around with these as long as they balance and such, but I think for us we're just going to leave it balanced here. So there we are, this is how we start. Would you like to fast start or choose career? I think we'll answer the questions here. Being able to answer questions gives you some say in how you start up, so we'll do that. After the College of Destruction, what school of magic have you been studying the second longest? I see restoration, someone who heals the damage they cause. What motivates us into a life of adventure? Knowledge or riches? I'm going to go with knowledge on this one. In between formal study, you spent your time learning economics. Need to be able to get a good price for things. Since childhood we have saved a katana. I love katanas. In gratitude for services rendered, the Emperor gave us an ebony dagger. Pro tip, take this. It's the third best material in the game after Orcish and Daedric, and it will really get you through some things with resistances. As you grew older, you received additional magical training in mysticism, I think. As a child, our nickname was Rabbit, Guppy, Scrapper, Quicksilver, or Monkey. My childhood nickname was none of these things. I guess Monkey was closest to you're friendlier than most with, well, being a necromancer we'd want undead, but since they're not really on this list, I guess we're going to have to pick Daedra. Good type for a evil sorcerer. Well, not evil, but dark anyway. Dark isn't necessarily evil. Of all disagreeable types, you have the most personal hatred for... priests are useful sometimes. Robber barons. You're intimate friends with a monk, a mage, a rogue, an assassin. Always helps to have an assassin on your side. What god, if any, do you worship? Tiber Septim's missing here, or Talos if you're a Skyrim loyalist. Let's see. I do like Akatosh. We'll try Akatosh. You have the most trouble. I reckon diseases. Our guy spends a lot of time around the undead, so diseases is probably going to be our problem. So our reputation has changed. Not at all. Name thyself. Nur Megil. Good Cinderin name. And we're going to want some black hair. Wild and unkempt. That looks pretty good. Let's go for that one. Okay, now the rolling portion. So I'm just going to batter through a few rolls until I get something I reckon is decent. Of course, it knows it's being recorded, so it can catch me out in anything cheesy that I do. Okay, and we're going to bring our speed up to 60 and our endurance up a tiny bit. Okay, so this is our starting character. We get to play with our skills a bit, and I'm just going to try and even things out as much as I can. Thaumaturgy and alteration equal. Yep, this is good. 2 points in each of these. And we want to try and even up this list as much as possible. Long blade and hand to hand and lock picking will be our better skills. And the reflex setting is pretty good. I like a fast-paced game, so I'm going to stick with that, and it'll mean also we level up a little bit faster. So there we go, that's our character, and we're all set to go. So now we're going to sit through the cutscenes.
400 years after Tiber's reign, the beginning will meet the end, and the bloody circle will close in the Empire of Tamriel. The unworthy heirs of the Septim dynasty have allowed the bonds of the Empire to weaken and crack. Uriel Septim, the Seventh, cannot repair what his ancestors ignored. The provinces fight among themselves like neglected children, drunk with rebellion, and one indomitable power hides itself, but not forever.
The sound quality's not very good there, I'm afraid. Yeah, we get a little bit of video lag. I'm hoping that's not such a problem when it comes to uploading this. Wow. You know how to make...
Excuse the gloom, but none may know of this meeting. The nature of my trouble is darker still. Over a year ago, King Lysandus of Daggerfall died honorably on the field of battle.
Occupational hazard.
He was as loyal a subject, ally, and friend as you are.
Okay, so we have some history here, obviously.
I did grieve for him, but his spirit does not rest.
Oh, so that's why you called a necromancer.
He haunts his former kingdom, crying for revenge. I do not know why a good and loyal man would be so cursed.
Something's wrong here.
Perhaps you can find the answer and close the marble jaws of oblivion, bringing peace to his soul.
Yep, call a necromancer to deal with undead. Makes sense.
I ask this as your emperor and your friend.
Alright then.
I have one lesser request.
Oh?
Several years ago, I wrote a letter to the Queen of Daggerfall. It never arrived.
Okay.
The letter was of a sentimental and personal nature. If you find
Uriel
and
Septim.
destroy that letter,
You bad boy.
I will be grateful.
Comforting the widow, are we?
Now, my champion,
Yeah, I'll find
rest
it and
well
destroy
this
it.
night. For tomorrow you sail for the kingdom of Daggerfall.
Yay! We're going on a boat. You wake and look around the room. Some hours ago you were in a boat, en route to Daggerfall, when a storm of supernatural strength boiled over the Iliac Bay like a malefic creature. Your boat was destroyed, but you managed to swim through the churning water to a promontory rock. There you found a cave and escaped the fury of the storm. You'd only just lit a small fire when a mudslide sealed you within. Your fear of being buried alive calmed when you saw the corridor leading out of the cavern. Perhaps there is a way out of this cave after all. Once free of the cave, you can begin the Emperor's quest. Okay, so... tutorial... no. So, here's our cave. Oh dear. People have obviously died here before. And something with a very large skull. Let's just rest on this log here for a second. Okay, now, I'm going to get rid of this head-up display thing. I much prefer this interface to the old one. And what we'll do here is we'll interrupt recording and just take through some of the other things. So, signing off.